What's good, beautiful people? What's up? This is the live stream for the day. Every Wednesday, I'm on this thing doing my thing. Um, still prepping some stuff just to make sure that it all runs well and smoothly. But what's up, folks? Today, I actually had one idea planned already. Um, but I've had a couple conversations over the last few days that kind of made me, want to go in a different direction with these things. Um, but so so first, I wanted to talk about how men don't care about women's money, or that we don't think about it. But I think I'll save that for another time. Today, what really caught my attention was um, a post I had made where I asked women why they feel like they don't compete or they don't have to compete for a man. And I thought it was the answers are very interesting, to say the least. But I didn't want to talk about that yet. So, what's up to the comment section? It's my boy Danny popped up in here, shouting out Thad, who I don't think has been in here yet. And then Markel always shows up and he asks what I'm drinking. Today is just wine. I had a little bit of Irish whiskey, some Jameson before I got on. But today, after that, it turned into wine. By the way, happy St. Patrick's Day. Whoever's watching this, I know you're probably out getting drunk, having fun, maybe, if COVID ain't stopping you. So before I get into what I want to get into, I want to talk about real quick this 6 p.m. curfew for men that came out. Now, before we get into it's a bit of a ridiculous notion, and even the woman who put it forth had said that she wasn't entirely serious. Really, she was just kind of making a mockery of the idea that we spend so much time trying to police women, while we address the men for once. And I mean, the thing that we often miss out on is that men's behaviors have been addressed for a very long time, especially because our jail system is set up for that. Men go to jail at exorbitant amounts compared to women. But in this instance, she was completely joking. And let's see. If I can, I'm gonna show you the. I'm gonna show you the article. Right. This is the article. UK lawmaker wants evening curfew for just men after the murder of a woman. She was murdered, found dead, and everything. Out at night, and they just was like, "Well, it's getting ridiculous. We need to stop the men." She even said it was ridiculous going down the article, trying to highlight that when police victim blame by asking women to stay home, they don't react. We just think it's normal. And then on a bit of the ironic side, guess who ended up murdering this woman? Yeah, a London police officer ended up murdering this woman. Ain't that crazy? So, like, if there's a curfew for men after 6 p.m., and again, this is ridiculous, but just hypothetically, if there's a curfew for men after 6 p.m., like, who would be out there protecting people? You're gonna give special treatment to police officers, and then that could cause some problems because they're out there. They're like the only men allowed out there. They're playing like super alpha. Like, it could be some problems. I'm not gonna try to be like an expert on the shit, but it could be a problem. All right. Let's see what we got so far. Other women would protect them. Duh. Yeah, I mean, that's all well and good. And it's funny, I got into a conversation about that with women, and as far as their guns go, like, oh, we have guns now, we can protect ourselves. And that's cool, but what happens when a guy like comes up behind you and like bear hugs you? You won't be able to get to your gun because 9 times out of 10 that guy's gonna overpower you. Like, men are here for protection. Clearly, I mean, and yeah, you're being facetious, I know. Clearly, he's being facetious. Okay. So here's what I want to get into today. I took a Kevin Samuels method. I said modern women. I mean, just women today. Before over the last let's see, a few weeks or so, I've really been seeing a lot of things about money, but and the money thing was like coming up off and like up and I'm sorry, it kept coming up again and again and again and again, and I really wanted to talk about that, but I was listening to a podcast where uh, they were asking women about certain things, and they were talking about they didn't have to compete for men, and I just felt like that was kind of ridiculous. Um, but so I asked my statuses, like I always do. I asked the people on Facebook, why don't women feel like they need to compete for men? And some of the answers I got were just kind of like, do you even know why we're here? Yeah, okay. Let's find this comment. Like, yeah, Price, we got to protect women. Obviously, we have to be the ones to protect women. Um, that's something we offer. That's one of our evolutionary advantages that should be taken advantage of, and we want to use. Uh, you just have to accept it. I'm gonna go back to what I was looking at here. I'm gonna show you some of the comments that I got when it came to this post, and kind of just go through each of them, kind of where my mind goes in when it comes to these. So let me share my screen application. Uh, okay. Let's do this one. All right. So, uh, this first one here. Oh wait, you still see the wrong one. It don't matter. This first one here. Not that one. Not that one. Jesus, man. It's hard to produce this stuff on your own. All right, give me 1 second. Okay. This first one here, and I remember I asked the question, why don't women feel like they need to compete for men, or why don't women compete with men? First comment, you want me or no? Simply, do you want her or not? Like, not even addressing the competition aspect of it. Second post, let's see here. I don't know if you can zoom in or not, but second comment says, oh, there we go. Because there's nothing you can do to keep a man who doesn't want to stay. That one got the most reactions. And I mean, I think that's one of those narratives in women that like they believe is true. But I feel like I think yes, it is true. If a man doesn't want to be with you, then you can't make him stay. You can't. I mean, you can hold a gun to his head, but that would be wrong. And you can't make a man stay. But I do feel like there's something you can do to try to make him stay. Like you have to be able to compete for the man that you are trying to keep, right? Um, I know some married people, and they do things that keep themselves. Um, they do things that keep themselves uh, attractive to the other person, and that's a part of the competition. But there are other things that go into it too, where marriages, girlfriends, relationships, where like you are actually competing for somebody, and if you think that that person's just gonna go away, why are you quitting? It's to me, it sounds like a defeatist attitude. Like if a guy doesn't want to be with you, then I have to ask you, okay, so what did you do to keep it from happening? Did you want to keep it from happening, or did you just say, oh, he's on his way out the door, I'll just let him go? Like, it doesn't make sense to me. This one says no one should compete. You're either compatible or interested or not. I'm compatible with a lot of people, right? But if I want to make somebody my girlfriend, or if I want to be in a relationship with somebody, I'm gonna have to compete with them. And it's really just as simple as that. Like I have to compete with the people. I have to compete with everybody. Like if I want you, like I'm compatible with several people, right? But if I want you and I want you to be my only long term, then yeah, that we're gonna be compatible. I'm sorry. Then we're gonna be compatible, but I still have to be able to show you that I am better than your other options. All right. Next one says, because we don't. If a man really wants you, he'll come again. Again, if a man really wants you, he'll come and get you. That's simply what that is. Um, I don't necessarily, yeah. If a man wants you, he'll come get you. But you also have to, if you want a man, there are things that you can do to like put yourself out there in the game. I mean, as much as I've listened to Kevin Samuels and a lot of other people, like I've also listened to some of these women talk about how to get men or the advice that they give on how to get high value men. And there are actually tactics and ways to put yourself in a position. Like Patrice O'Neal said in something once, he said that women don't have skills to get a man. Their skill is to make themselves available for a man to use his skills, which actually kind of gets into the next one I want to share with y'all. All right, so that was that. Oh, and then at the bottom, somebody asked me why you always asking Facebook about issues with women. Just curious. It's like your only topic ever. It's not my only topic. It's just the one that sticks out the most and people get more hurt by. All right. So that one is closed down. Let's share this one here. Okay, this one. Oh no, same one. All right, close that out. This one is this is me. The Take Me As I Am. Because it's after I put that song, like I really just took it for the chorus. I have no clue what the song's about. Don't really care. But look, Take Me As I Am or Have Nothing at All. Like it's almost like, okay, I hate this. This is gonna sound really bad, but to me, it seems as though I don't like the. You ever heard the phrase like all I got to do is stay black and die? Like that's how I feel like a lot of women act when it comes to getting men. Like all they have to do is stay black and die, and a man will come see them and save them or whatever, or not save them, but like just be with them and love them and stuff. Like I know that's what you want. You want all the love and whatnot. But let's go back because I'm doing too many things at once. But Take Me As I Am. The next one says supply and demand. That one was about how there are more men. There's more of a demand for men, which is kind of true, I think. But it seems to be there's more of a demand for men. And then this one says we do with how we present ourselves, but the truth is it's very uncommon. A man chooses the woman trying the hardest. He chooses the woman he puts the most into getting. Yeah, absolutely. But he has to want to put the most into getting her. Like he just does. It just doesn't happen overnight. Or I mean, it just doesn't happen just because she probably did something to make him feel better or feel good, and that's why she gets what she gets. Let me see. I'm going to do something very quickly. Hopefully, this isn't. And I'm not even looking at the comments right now. What was the live price? Please tell me. I want to know because please tell me the lie. I want to know because I don't want to be like wrong. I hate being wrong. LOL to stay black and die comment for women to get a man. Yeah, like I just feel like a lot of times when you ask a woman what she needs to do in order to get a man, it's usually like, well, I'm just gonna be the best version of me that I can be, and then you don't say anything about being with that guy, and that just seems like wrong. Especially if you want a man, I would think like, especially okay, as a guy, and well, we'll get to that later, but I feel like if you want a man, you should be able to, you know, get with one or do whatever you need to do to get one. It doesn't seem like rocket physics to me. Um, all right, and I'm gonna pin that comment. So I'll have the link in the StreamYard if anybody wants to hop in on the conversation. Um, Back to these. Stop sharing that one. Close that one down. But it isn't how you present yourself, but definitely there's like some other like slide tactics you can do to get a man. I don't think it's totally in your looks. I know that's how you compete like visually to get him to come to you. But once you get him, what is your plan? And a lot of times there's nothing behind that. There's nothing behind that question or no answer to that question. Like you don't have a plan on how to keep him. And that's usually how women are measured is by how you keep a man. At least that's what it was in the old school. Can you keep your man? Can you keep your family? A lot of times, like it used to be a time where like if women got divorced, they were seen as a failure. That doesn't really happen anymore. Like I've known older women who are afraid to divorce because they don't want to seem like they failed in their marriage. But nowadays, it's like don't want to fail in themselves. Excuse me. All right, this last one it says we do with how we present ourselves. Truth be told, it's not in our nature. We don't naturally hunt for men, but we know men will always hunt for us, and that's absolutely true. Men will hunt for you, um, but I think what happens is you kind of compete without knowing it. Like even if you want to talk about European beauty standards and everything, like the reason that you um do a lot of the things that you do is to get a man. Um, yeah, it's to get a man. So, I mean, when you talk about your hair, your makeup, like you say, like, okay, yes, it makes you feel good, and people argue me down on this, and that's fine. But this is just how I see it and how I feel. Um, if you put yourself together to go out there in the world and look all beautified, then who are you looking good for? And okay, it makes you feel good. What does it make you feel good about? It makes me feel good about myself and how I look and my appearance. Okay, who's qualifying or who's measuring your appearance? Yourself? If that's the case, then that's you got some self-esteem things going on you need to fix because you're changing your outer appearance to change your inner appearance, and that's no bueno. But if you're going out there, you feel good because you know you have a chance to compete with women to get whatever quality man you think you deserve. That's how I would think about it. Or just to give other women stuff to talk about. But you know those things attract men as well. So I'm like, are you competing or are you not? When I was growing up, well, let's see what Price says for. I was talking about they're saying you can't make a man stay lives. Yes, you can do what the other chick is doing. Yeah, that's true. Um, once you see, and that's kind of what I was trying to get to in the beginning, like or before. Like if a man gets to a point where he doesn't want to be with you anymore, then there's a good chance that there was something that led up to that where you might have messed up or you might have lost touch with your man, ladies. Like it just doesn't happen out of thin air. Just like if you fall out of love with your husband, it just doesn't happen out of thin air. For guys, it just doesn't flip. The switch just doesn't flip like that. There's something that was missing or something that wasn't gained in the process to him getting to like, I don't want to be with you anymore. All right. So I'm gonna say this. When I was growing up in my youth, my father in one of his many quotables from my life, every dad has those things that they repeated to their kids over and over again, and they're like, oh dad, stop saying that, like it gets annoying. And one of the things that I've always remembered from my dad was when he said, um, when I was about 13, 14 years old, and he told me, when you have sex, I'm gonna know. And I was so confused. I'm like, is my dad gonna be in the room with me? That'd be weird. Uh, but that's not what he said. He said, when you have sex, I'm gonna know because everything you do afterwards is gonna be geared towards getting more sex. And I was like, like really? Like that at the time it didn't really make sense. Then I lost my virginity and I finally understood that in order for me to get more sex, I'm gonna have to compete with other guys and I'm gonna have to step my game up. I'm gonna have to step my game up and I'm gonna have to wear the right clothes and get my hair cut often and smile more and learn how to say the right things and all these things that I'm doing. And he also paired that with if you take care of your business, the women will be there. And so then I began to focus on my academics a little more, handling my business. You know what I mean? Getting the things that I wanted, a car, being successful in college, put my name out there to where people got to know me. Like all these things are great for me and my purpose. But as most men know, when you do those things, it opens up your access to women. Right. So for men, like, yeah, we compete all the time and we understand the competition. You got to tell me which part is false. Like I'm not in your brain to figure it out. So if something's false, just let me know or call in. It's up to you. But yeah, everything that I was doing was great for my status, which opened up my access to women. Like I was known. I had some status on the yard. It was good. It was cool. And the older I get, also as you get older, you see all these other guys who are high status and they get things that they want. And I'm like, oh, that's cool. Like if you take care of your business, the women will be there. But men will compete. I actually had this conversation with a friend of mine the other day because she handling your business and women will come. No, you got to handle your business and then you got to take care of like the internal stuff too. Like you can't just have a bunch of money. Like the money will get you access and the attention, but you still have to have some kind of follow through with it. Like you got to be exciting. You got to be willing to spend that money, all of that. Right, they did. Much to my surprise too. Like one of my friends came up to me once and was like, hey, bro, I know you got hoes, and I'm like, where? I don't know who these hoes are, but like, so let's see. My father paired that if you take care of your business, girls will be there. So I was having a conversation with my friend the other day, and yeah, he does spend money. Now I was having a conversation with one of my friends the other day about this whole idea of competition and competing in the dating world, and um she was like, no, that's not what it is. Like these guys don't really compete for real. They don't acknowledge other people. They don't do this and that. And the third, I said, no, you don't have to acknowledge other people. Now, if you know somebody is dating other people, then yeah, like you're acknowledging them. But what tends to happen is these guys will, um, these guys will, if they know you're dating other people and they really, really like you, they'll start doing all this extravagant stuff in order to get your attention. And she was like, that's not da, 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 da. So fast forward to maybe 3-4 days later, she texted me. She was like, yo, you were right about this competition thing. Cause this one guy I'm seeing, like he's doing all of these things for me. Like, and he's going like out of his way to do X, Y, and Z. I'm like, yeah, because he likes you and he wants to show you that he's better. Even if he doesn't like, I mean, if he likes you, he could be like trying to be, super alpha or whatever, but he's doing these things because he likes you. He wants to show you how he stands out above the rest. Men compete all the time, but what's baffling to me is that women don't think that they can compete. Like, yes, the man makes a lot of the calls or whatever, but like there's a silent power that you have with women that a lot, it's femininity is called, that a lot of women just don't practice. Like you can be, you'll be with the guy and like he'll start to venture off, but then like you give up and because you can't tell him directly like, hey, I need you to stay home and do this. Well, how about you learn to fulfill those things that are missing, or hear him out? Or I mean, I know people change and they say they listen and hear people out, but oftentimes it's a lot deeper than what they say it is or what they may think it is. You have to do your due diligence and your homework if you really want to keep the guy you're with. You got to be able to compete. I know a married woman who she's married to a high value man, and one of the reasons, like, and she's had his 2 kids, and she's in the gym relentlessly because she knows that if she lets herself go too much, she's going to lose her husband to a woman who looks much better than her. That's competition. Or that's competing. Uh, I've I hate to say it, put my business out there, but I've probably had more. I probably had more women ask me on dates or take me out on dates than anybody I've ever met, or any other guy I've ever met, or at least people haven't told me. But women have asked me to be like take me out on dates. That's competing. Um, you can compete. I mean, and you can compete in just by, stroking a dude's ego. Like you're being the best one at that. Like there's so many different lanes and variables in which you can compete, but I feel like a lot of y'all don't take it. Like for like, why not? Like it's almost like, and I hate to say it again, but I hate to say, but it just seems like a lot of y'all feel like men are just disposable. Like, oh, he wants to leave, that's fine. I'll just get another one. I'm not gonna fight for anything that's not mine. And that just seems ridiculous. Like, especially if you actually got the guy. Like, it seems kind of wild that you're just so willing to give it up. Why would you do that? Hi, Brittany. Let's see. Women have taken me out on dates before. What's funny, a couple things that were so funny to me. One time I went to this restaurant. This girl took me to Cheddar's, and she paid. And the server looked at me as a guy. He looked at me. He's like, "Bro, you might want to keep her. That don't happen too often." But he doesn't know she was like number 5 of like the of like the last like 3 years. Another time, this girl said she wanted to take me out, and then she said she wanted to take me out, and we got to the restaurant. No, sometime before we got to the restaurant, she had heard me say that like I've been taken out. Like, oh, I'm sorry. She asked me if I've been taken out by women before. I guess the right answer is no, but I told her the truth. I'm like, yeah, it's happened before. And then like she was like, oh man, like she was upset that she couldn't be the first one. But that's competition. Let's see. Do. Hey, Brittany, how you doing? I haven't seen Brittany in so long. Brittany's one of the best personalities I've ever met. Real cool, laid back. I think we do in some ways, like you said earlier, but unknowingly, uh, by unknowingly competing. For instance, if asked what happened in past relationships, women will try not to do the same thing that caused the other relationship to fail. Yeah, that's an idea of competition. You want to stand out. You want to show you want to stand out. You don't want to be like the others, especially if you want to win the game. When you go out with the men, like the catching the prize is often like I think confused. Like you don't get really good men very often. Like it's like fishing, really. Um, but like, well, let me rethink that. I don't want to go too deep into catching the prize. But yeah, there are ways you compete with other women. I actually had a woman. This was just some manipulative competition, but I had her once like she faked a burglary just to get me away from a date I was on. I didn't tell her I was on a date. She just assumed, and I was on a date, but she just assumed, and she was like, "Hey, somebody broke into my house." But like after asking some poignant questions, I was like, "Okay, she's tripping. She's not. It's not a real thing." Yes, Brandis, people do ask me out. I don't know why. I'll be trying to figure that out too. I'm a nice guy. I got nice teeth. I don't have any kids. Uh, I don't have any kids. I got a good job. Like I kind of know my worth. Like I know I'm not like a by definition high value man. I'm a teacher. Like I don't really make real money, quote unquote. It's decent down here, but I'm a teacher. But I also realize too how rare I am. Um, and that's not a flex. That's just the truth. Uh, that's just the truth. If anybody wants to hop in on the call, the link is definitely posted on Facebook. I know it's not on YouTube, the YouTubes. Um, Let me see. I think I'm missing something here. Bam, there we go. Now I'm official with like a ref with a whistle. All right. Let's go back to the comments here. Tika, cool clown Tika. You should stand out. You should stand out, but still stay true to yourself. I feel like if you try to stand out more than you need to, you lose yourself, and now you're giving him something that you might not be able to keep up with. You can keep up with it if you work hard at it, if you really want it. But yeah, I mean, you should stand out within yourself, like know your limits. Like it's fine. Like guys understand what their limits are. That's actually one of the reasons why I have and maybe I'll make this a show in itself, but like I try to predict women's personalities and their taste in men by the cars that they drive. Uh, because I think women put a lot of their personality into the vehicles that they choose, and I think it's pretty readable. But no, if you stand out within yourself, know your lane. If you know a guy who likes girls with really big chests and you don't want to be that, then don't try to be with him. You know what I mean? Like as a guy, if I meet a woman who tells me like I only date dudes who are over 6 feet tall, I'm 5'8", I'm like, all right, well, that's your preference. Let me move on to somebody else. Like, and that's perfectly reasonable. But if I'm with a woman who will accept me at 5'8", but she's dating 2 or 3 other 5'8", 5'9" dudes, I gotta show them why I'm the best one. Competition. It's just what we do. I mean, even when you talk about going into the womb, conception, there are millions of sperm that go into the system, and only one of those sperm can impregnate a woman. That's sperm competition. Competition is all around us. It's weird to just act like it doesn't exist. Um okay, so I don't know if you just tag somebody or what. Okay. Going back into the comments as I finish. Very true about the cars. It tells a lot. Yeah, I sometimes you get fooled though, because I met a woman who was an accountant. She had her JD from a law school somewhere, and she ended up like I remember we met up for a date, and I was looking for this woman to be driving like a Buick, Mercedes truck, whatever, and she pulled up in like this like 2002 red like Ford Escort or something, and it was beat up on a donut. But I'm like, yo, she makes really good money. Like, what the hell? But sometimes you get tripped up, but for the most part, if a woman chooses her car, like it really says a lot about who she is. Um, let's see if I can read all this very quickly. Uh, from my sister-in-law. Hey, sis, how y'all doing? If y'all move back, for sure, I would love to have more family down here. To be honest, I think a lot of women don't compete as much when it comes to men because women feel like you can't bring more to the table than them. You're really not worth the fight. And because black women are the most educated groups in the US and are doing well for themselves, this is why you see a rise in black women coming out as bisexual. Yeah, that's happening too. Because what the term is hypergamous. Women are hypergamous. Uh, they want a guy who has more than them. And there's nothing wrong with that at all. There's nothing wrong with hypergamy. But realistically, what it's doing to our community is really like hypergamy. What it's doing to our community is it's turned out to be very detrimental. Like I have a whole thing, and I'll probably this might be next week, where I talk about the breakdown of the black family structure. But we live in a society, and if you go on blackdemographics.com, you can verify this. For every 1,000 black women who have a job, 850 black men have a job. So women are more educated than us, they're more employed than us, and by those statistics and the way our world works, there's a really good chance that women are going to make more money than us on average, especially because of the rates at which black men are in jail, dropping out of high school, don't have support systems to get them, like, we don't always have the skills. And so there are a lot more educated women with master's degrees. Oh, that was another thing with the girl with the lawyer. I remember on our date, um, she told me she put on her profile like guys with grad degrees only. And I just stopped at my bachelor's. And at that point, I knew, I was like, okay, this is going to be an uphill battle because she wants somebody who has at least as what she has or more. But you're a 29-year-old lawyer who just moved here, and like what, like you don't know, like you're up there, but this is what it is. But I had to suck that up and be okay with it. But we're gonna talk about. I want to talk about the. Hey man, sperm competition is real. Like there, well, one of these days I'm gonna talk about like poly stuff or whatever. But I read in a book called Sex at Dawn that back in the days before society had taken over, before society's rules had taken over and women became monogamous and all this stuff, or men became monogamous, people became monogamous. They used to have like one of the reasons. I'm sorry. The men would have sex with the women in the forest. They would let out these moans and yells. It would let other people know that, hey, some woman in the area was mating. The man had to quickly get out of there in order not to get killed. And so he would basically pump and dump. The next guy would come through. He's like, oh, she's still going. All right. And then they would have sex with her. And then but only one of their sperm can make it in. And the strongest, of course, would survive, which is really how we got our society. It's so fun. It's so strange when you read about these things and you think about like, man, this really hi Melissa. I don't know what you miss. But it's really strange when you think about how these things work. All right, I got 16 people watching right now. What's up, 16 people? How y'all doing? 17 on Facebook, nobody on the YouTube. One of these days I'm just gonna shift straight to YouTube. I know Facebook is like convenient for a lot of people, but I really want to try to get some of this stuff away from my Facebook page. I mean, because I want to try to get it from my Facebook page, build a YouTube channel. I don't really know what I want to do with that channel yet, but I really just want to do something. I like doing this. I like talking to people, having conversations. So if anybody wants to chime in on the topic about women and being competitive, or just being competitive, period, because I know men, we have to compete, and we know we have to compete, and we're okay with the fact that we have to compete. What baffles me is how women don't think they have to compete. When you say things like, no, nobody should compete, you're either compatible or not, you're just not even you're not even putting yourself out there for what you want. You're essentially just saying, I'll take whatever life gives me. And human beings, we have the ability to go chase after stuff. If you really want something, you're going to do what you have to do to get it. But a lot of us got too many pats on the back. We got too many pats on the back and told that we were good enough and people should take us for how we are. And now we're in a point where people are so proud of who they are, despite their flaws and despite their shortcomings, and they think that they should get something out of it. I'm good enough just being me. No, you're in a world where, as a guy, I have to go out there and find women. Like, women just don't come up in my inbox. I've been asked out on dates, but it's usually with me starting the conversation. So I have to go find women. Like, as a woman, women don't have to do well. Women, it comes to you, and access to sex is not access to relationships. But if you want a relationship with somebody, you have to show your worth and you have to stand out. 83% there. Sure. As long as my beard connects. All right. The link should be down at the bottom there. I pinned it. So if anybody wants to chime in on the conversation, by all means, especially you people with long posts. Especially you people with long posts. If you got something to say, by all means, you probably should just chime in. Click on the StreamYard link, join the conversation. You don't have to be on camera. we can shut that off, whatever. But it's cool. No, it's cool. It's cool with your long posts. It's just easier to talk them out instead of trying to like read. Especially, it's more fun for me too because then I'm not arguing with like what seems to be like robots and avatars. Uh, let's see. I take my comment back because regardless of who you are, sometimes changing things about yourself is a good thing, and I've done it. I've done that, and it changed me for the better. Honestly, yeah, yeah. Changing stuff for people is not always a bad thing, especially if you trust that dude to. If you really want to be able to trust that dude, you have to be able to say, okay, let me swallow my pride and do. Guys do it all the time. I mean, we get humbled very early on. Another episode I may want to talk about the Disneyfication of men. Women, y'all watch those romantic movies and fantasies, whatever, but we also watch them too. Like, so peep game. So peep game. So when we watch Aladdin, uh ladies probably see Princess Jasmine being in a castle. You identify with her being in the castle, about to get married or something like that, and or just looking to get married, doesn't have a Prince Charming, and one day this man comes into her life and he's everything she ever wanted to be. He takes her on a magical carpet ride, and he ends up saving her life, and she falls in love with him, and they live happily ever after. But for me, when I watch Aladdin, and Aladdin's one of my favorite Disney movies, when I watch Aladdin, I see a bum who lied to get to a woman. She found out. He ended up coming back doing some chivalrous thing, and she took him back, despite the fact that he lied about the whole thing to get there. Ain't that crazy? Markel's trying to show somebody the world. But ain't it crazy how like it's a Disney thing, like and men and women see it. We take two different things from it, but women are the only ones who get blamed for like socialized. We're being socialized. Men can be socialized as well. Um, but yeah, I want to talk about the Disneyfication of. No, that's what you do. What do I do? That's what who does. Yeah, that's why it's so much easier to like because I'm essentially doing this by myself. I don't know if I can rant for a really long time. I've never thought of myself as the long-winded type. Um, I never thought of myself as a long-winded type. I actually like to just have conversations with people. And what do men do, or what do I say men do that's not? I'm sorry. What did I say that men do is just isolation? I really just want to know that. Just isolated to me. Our issues, black family. All right. 15 people on. What's up, 15 people? Okay. Um. Oh, I mean, no, we don't. I'm not saying. Well, I'm not saying all men do that, but like, I mean, that's just what you see in Aladdin. Like, you just see this dude who lied to get to where he was, and then she took him. That's all I'm saying. I do my best not to. I don't like to lie. Um, it's gonna sound really. I don't lie. It's very hard for me to lie to people, especially if you ask me a direct question. Like I'm gonna give you a straight answer. Um, like when that girl asked me about have I been taken out before? Absolutely, yeah. Why would I hide that to you? Hide that from you? What I found in my old age, in my 31 years, is that honesty is really the best policy. Like I've always been an honest person, but when it came to women, it was it was just like I would hide stuff and hold stuff in because I didn't want to upset her, piss her off, or whatever. Now, don't care so much anymore. I'm willing to take a loss, as they would say. I want to take a loss, as they would say. So, right. All right. All right. Where are you at, man? You moving around and stuff? I'll see you there. Okay. One person.
One second, let me turn this off.
Okay. Yeah, turn. It's so funny. It's so funny watching these comments and not knowing what people are responding to. What's up, bro? You got it.
How much, right?
I'm good. What do you have on the topic?
Huh?
I said, what do you have on the topic?
Man, okay, so what's your question, man? Like, what exactly is the topic again and everything? The women not feeling like they have to compete.
Yeah, women don't feel like they have to compete for men. It seems that way. I mean, at least that's what my comments were saying. Like,
I mean, they honestly don't and everything. Like, I've dealt with women where they'll be like, I'm not gonna just be an option. You choosing me. And it's like, I mean, what make you better than any other woman I'm involved with if I'm involved with any other ones and everything? I mean, like, yeah, it's like, hey, I literally was dealing with a chick and like there was someone else I was interested in. I didn't say I wasn't interested in her, and the only reason she knew was because like we were already friends and shit. So she was just like, yeah, well, I'm not about to compete with anyone. Like, okay,
yeah,
like, what you like? So you just supposed to be like, you here, so you just won? Like, I mean,
yeah,
I feel like a lot of women feel that way.
Yeah, and I've definitely heard and seen that happen before, and I've seen so many posts on social media where women are like, I'm not gonna be an option. And I'm like, if you're dating a guy, there's a good chance that you came into the game as an option anyway.
Right.
Like, there aren't too many guys who are starting at zero and going out there and dating you. You're always in competition, whether you believe it or not, because if he's the game you're gonna play, you know, and he has 5 different women, somebody gotta come in second. Like, you know what I mean?
Women will compete. Women will compete, but they'll only compete for the man that they really want. Because I mean, like, for example, like
no high value men.
Right, exactly, and everything. They'll compete for that and everything. It's like, hey, they'll show their worth. Like, it's like, hey, I'll give it up the first night. Like that's things like, hey, I'll wear that nice red dress while I was like with that other dude I went out with and everything. I threw on some jeans, a t-shirt that said my family reunion's name or something like that. That got holes in it and bleach stains. But like, yeah, like the difference is when you want someone, you'll put forth effort. And it's like, yeah, I get how like women will feel that like, yeah, it's like, hey, a man will choose who they want to choose, but make yourself a more appealing choice. Like that's all we saying and everything. Like, we're not saying that you have to be out here like, I don't know, like going above and beyond, but like if you go above and beyond, that's definitely gonna get you like a better shot out here and everything. I mean, dudes want to feel appreciated and shit. So it's like if I'm taking out 5 chicks and like let's say I'm dating 5 different women and everything. We know that's not happening and everything. I don't get none. So let's say I'm out here dating 5 different women. And they're all like on equal playing field and everything to start, but like, yeah, one of them's like calling and saying good morning. I don't know, like one of them's drop by the job and everything, brings a nigga some lunch or something like that, or DoorDash is doing shit. Like, you gonna feel a little bit more special, feel a little bit more like drawn to that one.
Right.
But yeah, like what just like, it's like, hey, you gonna take me as I am. You might have one that has like a huge attitude for like no reason. Or like, yeah, it's like, oh well, I shouldn't have to fix that because that's my character, and you should love me for me. So you need to adjust. Like, yeah, like no, I done dealt with that. Please, like, son, settle down. But yeah,
but no, I've seen it a few times. Just where, like, again, it's almost like it's just stay black and die. That's what it feels like to me. Like a woman just telling me, like, yeah, all I gotta do is stay black and die. Like, what? There's nothing you can do to further a man's interest in you. Absolutely nothing. And that's a very difficult that's a very difficult thing for me to swallow. Women say that Melissa said women say they aren't going to compete for your attention because they don't really want you. Yeah, I mean, it's
Yeah,
almost like they feel.
that's obvious.
Yeah, it's like they feel like they're settling in that instance. They don't want you, but you're there. It's like, oh, well, I can do without this. So yeah, you can go ahead and do what you want to do. I'm gonna just move on. But it's like, what are you really trying to look for? Like that'd be my thing. Like, what are you trying to look for if you don't want to compete for anything?
I feel like a lot of women feel like if they compete, then they've like lost. Like it's kind of like when somebody says "I love you" first and everything. It's like it's like like hey, they love me. Like that means I'm in the. I feel like it's kind of like that. If a woman has to try for you and shit, then it's like like oh well, I mean, I'm putting forth effort. Yeah, that's kind of like giving up. That like they probably feel like that's submission or something like that. Like that's I'm trying. That's almost like submitting to you.
Yeah, I think you said they feel like they lost. Oh, I was gonna say that when they do try to compete and play in those games, or you tell them like, "Hey, there are other people there." It's almost like they don't want to. They don't want to even play to give themselves the possibility to lose.
Yeah, well, like women do hate rejection, like because they don't generally they like to reject, and that we know because like it's like hey, when they reject niggas and everything, they'll like screenshot it, they'll like put it on video and post it. And, like when dudes reject a woman and everything, if they turn a woman down like woman they just not just like it's like oh like hey they said no and that's just what it was and everything. But like also when they do that like it's like hey niggas gay, they a bitch. Like it's just like all types of problems and something must be wrong with them. But yeah, son, settle down. You're not a dinosaur. Yes, I love you too. But yeah, I mean, I lost track of thought. This boy like here.
It's all good. But yeah, I appreciate the input. What's up, kid? Kid. Hey. But all right, dude. I appreciate your input. There's a couple more points I want to hit too.
No problem, man. I'll catch up with you. Gotta get him home anyway.
All right, then.
All right. You say bye.
Okay. Yeah, my brother said I would really love for a woman to jump in the video chat and give their take as well. So let's talk about. I want to go back to how women kind of either don't want competition or they really don't want you. I've definitely had this happen before. When I was in college, I started the first girl I started talking to before I got to campus. We had met each other, everything was going well, and then one day she kind of just like dropped off the face of the earth, and I was not face of the earth, but like she just stopped talking to me as much. And I asked her, I was like, "Yo, what happened?" And she told me that she said I had too many fans. And I was like, what? First of all, I didn't know who these fans were. But she told me I had too many fans. I guess too many women she knew liked me. And she just bowed out and we didn't talk. Fast forward. Thought women were gonna jump in and want to compete. So fast forward, maybe my senior year of college, she ends up get this. I had too many fans. She ends up dating the star quarterback of the football team. And I had too many fans. That's crazy. But what it kind of proves is that based on your status, a woman will sit there and compete with you. I had too many fans, and I guess I wasn't valuable enough at the time. I was just a freshman walking around campus, didn't really have anything, didn't really build anything for myself. And then she ends up dating the quarterback. So I was like, oh, that's weird. So now you want to compete. So yeah, like we said, if she really wants you, she'll compete for you, which is why I know that I've got all these dates. I got all these dates that I did in the past. Yeah, by all means, that's my brother said. I'm always open. I love to hear a lady chime in on this, because I would hate to believe that She just didn't find you interesting. Sure, we'll go with that. I've never had the conversation with her about it. I'm pretty sure I could. But I'm just going based off of what she said. And I mean, he is the quarterback. Like I kind of got that. Like you don't want to like how many women aren't going to compete for like there's not a high competition for like mediocre dudes. I didn't really have status in college, didn't really have money, car, nothing like that. So like I get it. But I'm going off of what she said. She said I had too many fans. She didn't want to compete, and she didn't want to compete for me, which is perfectly fine. So when it comes to competition, anyway, what kind of baffles me sometimes is that there's always this narrative of there aren't enough good men out here, dead, broke, in jail, gay, whatever. But for some reason, the men that women do come across, it's almost like they don't appreciate them very much. And I'm not gonna say that for me because I honestly like I feel like no, I didn't have a beard back then. That might have been a problem. For me, I don't know. I've always felt like I've had women compete, like really want to show me that they're worth something. They want to be in my life. So personally, I can't really say, but I do know a lot of guys who like they just get like women just give them anything, and they're just expected to take it. So it's kind of hard for me to sit back and say like, hey, women don't compete. No, they'll compete for the guys that they want. That's a fact. A woman will compete for the guys that she wants. I actually wrote it down somewhere on my notes here. Women will fight for the guys they want, and it's not always like an overt fight to either. Like one of the things that it seems like is missing a lot is like I was listening to somebody talk about the king and queen system, right? And so of course in every kingdom, like the king is up there, like he's the most powerful person in the land, unless the queen is widowed, and then she is of course the most powerful. But but in the king and queen system, the queen's value is not even really just like a figurehead, but she also is like she's the silent power in the kingdom. She has the king at his most vulnerable moments. She knows his secrets, and she's like his, almost most immediate advisor. But what it seems like sometimes is that in our society, in our system, in our matriarchy as Black people, it's almost like the woman wants to take over as the king, or they want a king, but then they want to tell the king how to be a king. Why? That's a bit of a sidetrack. My bad. All right. One of these days, I'm gonna have people call in here, and they're gonna do it on their own volition, and we're gonna make this fun. I'm gonna get a mixer with like some sound, with a soundboard. We're gonna do all kinds of cool stuff. It's gonna be fun. I can tell you what I like in a man and give you traits on what I think a good man is, but definitely varies by woman. Yeah, she's talking about Markel when he said good men is subjective. It absolutely is. When does the competition end? Never. It never ends. Because as a man, I know if I get too content and I get caught slipping and I can't provide anymore, then I'm gonna lose my wife or my partner to somebody else who is doing those things. The competition never ends. Never ends. And for women, never. I don't know if that's you saying never like it's a pain for you or never like it's a surprise, but the competition never ends. Like Patrice O'Neal, God rest his soul, had said in one bit, relationships are better when the woman is just a little insecure. You're afraid you might lose them because it helps you keep your game up. What happens is people get into their situations, they get content, like, oh, I'm never gonna lose this. This is great. I I got my band, and we're gonna be great. And then they forget about all the work that goes into it afterwards. The competition never ends. Like I said, with my coworker who's married to the high value man, she's in the gym every day because she knows that she got to keep her body up because her high value man has options to get younger, better looking women. Like the competition never ends. It should work. It does work both ways because a man has to keep himself up. Man has to keep himself up. He has to keep his money up, his work ethic. He has to continue to be the provider. He has to keep himself up, which is always baffling to me when I hear people talk about they get married and or before they get married, the guy tells them like, yo, I need you to, this is what I want from you. Like, I need you to keep a certain weight. I need you to do this. And then it's a problem. Like, we both have to do work in order to keep each other. The competition goes both ways. Like I said, for women, if you don't keep up your looks and your aesthetic, you might have trouble keeping your man. For a man, if you don't keep up your money, your ambition, and your ability to provide, you may lose out on your women. Most divorces, well, they say 50% of divorces are ended because of finances. So, I mean, that falls on the man's shoulders for sure. Or, well, it falls on his shoulders, and also like sometimes it could be the woman's shoulders because frivolous spending and whatnot. But I'm not trying to get all anecdotal and stuff. All right. Not a surprise, but it's one of those things that men unfortunately control. If I'm competing for you, whenever you choose your mate, then that's when it ends. Sometimes it takes a man a lot longer to decide because there's always someone better. I just feel like the competition never stops. Like, even if I'm with somebody and I'm like focused on you, and I'm doing what I can to provide and do all these things, there are still things that you have to do in order to keep my attention. Like, you can't, it's not like you just get together with somebody and then that's it. Like, you still got to look at that person in the face. And I mean, sexual desire is one of those things that, keeps a marriage together. So you still have to be able to compete with other people. That's just how, that's how I see it. I'm not married or anything. God, I wish to be so, but I just feel like the competition never ends. Like, why would you want to like get to a point and then just stop trying to be better? Of course, you get married, you still learning and everything. There's so many new things that you're gonna learn together. But I mean, within yourself, you still gotta make yourself appealing and desirable. I'm not married. You act like this is a surprise. If I was married, you probably wouldn't even see me doing this, because I'd be so focused on my relationships, and well, maybe not. Because I've always kind of been this way, girlfriend or whatever. Like, I've always been kind of like questioning things like that, or like this. So, am I competing? Yes, I'm competing. I'm always I'm a single black man with no kids who's looking to get married. Like, I'm always in competition. And what's crazy is sometimes things like this could really harm your chances, because I've been asked several times, like, yo, with the stuff you post on Facebook, do you ever think that it's going to harm your chances at, dating somebody? And I'm like, is it gonna harm your chance at dating somebody? I'm like, yeah, it will. But I mean, it's kind of like when people say, if it's meant for me, it's meant for me. And I mean, if somebody can't handle my brain thinking this way, then, and the way that I process, and they can't hear me when I say things, like, then they're not for me in the first place. Which is actually why I really started to let a lot of comments and stuff go, because I realized, like, people were telling me in the background, like, yo, you right, the people in your comments, they be tripping. I'll be rolling at your comments, your statuses and your posts. So I let stuff roll off my back now these days. Do I hate women? No. I had answered that question before. Yeah, she talking, man. She just being funny. I like her. She's cool people. Markel says men are always competing till they out the game and want to live as a hermit. Yeah, MGTOW. Which I don't really care for, because like, I want to be with a woman. So I'm not gonna do like MGTOW dudes are like men go their own way, and they basically have like given up on like trying to mate with women and pursue women, as far as like girlfriends, relationships, and and everything else. They don't want to be. They've had too many traumas and turmoil, so they really resort to like cut buddies and prostitutes in order to fulfill their needs that way. But they don't want to mess with women. MGTOW is not for me. But yeah, the dudes compete until they no longer compete. I need 1.5 MGTOW. Is that what you need me to? Is that what you wanted me to repeat? MGTOW. Men go their own way. There are a lot of different factions of what they call the manosphere. MGTOW is one of them, along with like Red Pill. I just learned SYSBM, Save Yourself, Black Man. Let's learn about that one. I try not to. MGTOW is almost like gay, but not quite there yet. No, I try not to get too deep into that kind of stuff because as much as I enjoy the content and I learn a lot of things, there are just some parts about the manosphere that are like too dark for me. I don't have like this vitriolic disdain for females. I love women. My mom's a woman. My grandmother's one of my favorite people in the world. My grandmother is a woman. A lot of women in my family. So I try not to go too deep into the manosphere. Look at nature. In what species does the female compete for the male's attention? The males are always competing for the female's attention. That's very true. Very true. Well, unless I have to go into some deeper things. I mean, there are mating dances and rituals where females do attract, and I'm sure that I can find. That would have been great for research. I'm gonna keep that in mind for next time to get into the animal kingdom for research. But I know that there are animals where where the women participate in the mating ritual. Animal kingdom. Oh yeah, praying mantis get eaten by the females. That sucks. Uh uh uh. Ew. So for giraffes, if a female giraffe is ready to mate, apparently, the male will he will drink her urine. That's a new one. I'm gonna have to go through this list a little later. I know for sure, like peacocks, they spread their wings and they spread their feathers in order to get attention. I'm not quite sure what other animals do. Uh, some animals are the other way around. Hyenas are one of them. Yeah, I have heard that from hyenas. Look, I'm the one over here drinking, and she's asking me what my maiden dance is. That's crazy. So when a woman competes for you, how do you go about choosing the best fit for you? What if the woman that you are competing for have similar traits? Really, you just have to pick and choose. I mean, you're not gonna get everything from anybody. It's just a matter of figuring out what works for you and what doesn't. What works for the goose may not work for the gander. So, uh, if I'm dating a few different women, or if I went dating a couple women, I'm trying to decide. I mean, honestly, for me, I'm old school. I just write a list of pros and cons and figure it out from there. Decide what I can deal with, what I can't deal with, what I'm willing to take a risk on, what I'm not willing to take a risk on. And if they have similar traits, I mean, you got to look at all the other stuff around it. I mean, nobody's the exact same, so it's just a matter of how much you want to deal with. My cousin actually told me at his sister's wedding. He said everybody has their baggage. It's just a matter of how much you're willing to deal with. And I really took that to heart, and it makes me think about that. If you're trying to see something, my Cash App is down there. That's the tip jar. This ain't a free show. I mean, it is a free show, but like the maiden dance part of it, that's free. Or, I mean, you hit my OnlyFans. I don't really have one, but you can make one up. You can make one up. OnlyFans to your DMs. Giraffe males will beat a female. Will beat a female and make her miscarry so he can have her. What? Yeah, the animal kingdom is weird. There's a lot of stuff that goes on that we don't usually we don't do. There's also a lot of stuff that we do, but yeah, the animal kingdom has some wild stuff going on in there. It's okay. Do. Okay. All right. Line's still open for anybody who wants to join in on the conversation. I got 14 people on here now. It was up to 17. Not the 40 that I thought that was the second one, but that one was a little wild. I can't get that drunk again. Not on camera, not when this is public like that. Yeah, I know a lot of random stuff too. I always tell people I'm like a wealth of useless trivial knowledge. If you want to win a trivia night at a restaurant, take me with you. I know a little bit about a lot of stuff. All right. What were you doing or talking about on the second one? The second one was about women and accountability. I took the there's that meme that said women do sexual acts and then complain when they're sexualized, and just ask the question like, why are you so upset that you're being sexualized if you're gonna do things that are sexual? I got a little wasted. My mom saw it. It was like 40 some people in there. It was pretty cool actually. Yeah, and I was hot as hell too. I had a shot of tequila. I had on like a shirt and tie, sweater. It was a mess. Oh, that's a really good question. Yes, I do. Do I hate my sister-in-law asked, "Do you hate when people compare you to Kevin Samuels?" Yeah, because what frustrates me a little bit too is that I've been talking some of the same points that he has for years, and like somebody asked me and accused me of being on like this Kevin Samuels craze haze whatever. I'm like, no, I've been this way. I've been asking these questions, but it's just now Kevin Samuels is able to articulate it in ways that I can't, or like he does it in a way that I can, especially when he talks to people like that or talks to people on his show like directly. Whereas I was just doing it on Facebook statuses. But like look, image consultant. He calls himself high value man, whatever. I agree with his points, and I agree with his points. Some of the tactics of his show, I'm like, aren't really my thing, but doesn't mean he's wrong though. But no, just Kevin Samuels is just a figurehead now that's easy for people to compare you to. I don't hate it. I mean, I hate it just for the simple fact that I'm not him. You might have popped in for a minute. You might have popped in for a minute. Let's see. Yeah. Okay. One of these days, I'm gonna start doing a bunch of other stuff for this just to figure out what my lane is. Picking up some new skills. Let's see. I mean, as far as the topic goes, I really don't have much else to it. I just know that like ladies, there is something you can do to compete. Like you're not just I mean, you're not just like completely like nothing beings. Like you're not just, waiting in the field to get picked. Like there are things that you can do. Even like flowers compete to a sense. Like some are more beautiful than others. Like that's just how they are. They compete through their variation. but there are things that you can do to compete. And I mean, really, the competition never stops. I mean, because you never stop being a man, you never stop being a woman, like you never stop being a human being who has eyes and desires for other things. And so when we decide to partner with people, I feel like it's really up to us to figure out what all we can do to make sure that these people, these people that we decide to be with are satisfied. Some people are better at expressing it than others. Some people are better at figuring it out. But at the end of the day, you still have to be able to compete. And that's, I think, one of the reasons why, I mean, you got to compete for what you want. But if what you want is like out of your grasp, then why are you striving? It's like insanity, right? Like if you know it doesn't work, if you want a dude who makes X amount of money and you never put yourself in a position for a guy like that before, like why would you not learn how to get that person? We do it for everything else. If you want a job, if you want a promotion at your job, you work your tail off so you can get recognized and stand out against people, and so you compete. But it's like when it comes to our personal lives, people don't want to go out there. I don't know if this is part of like the participation award, the participation trophy generation, where like you just show up and you get recognized for it. It could very well be that, but we just have to be able to understand, or ladies especially, because men get kicked in the teeth very soon when we try all these ways that people tell us is the right way. Again, in the Disneyfication of men, I'm gonna talk about later. Like we've been conditioned to think all these ways, but we learn very early on that these things don't work. Women don't get it until it's too late, when you've been waiting all your life for like kids and a husband and everything, and then you like turn around, you 42 and you got nothing, and now you just have to be satisfied with, maybe I'll meet somebody, but I'm going to take care of this dog. Danny said a passport is the ultimate flex. My sister-in-law asked, do you think you'll find love overseas? I've heard from people a lot of times that I'm gonna take this MGTOW thing off because I'm not with that. I've heard many men say that overseas, like they get more attention, better attention, they get treated better overseas from other women, women of other cultures. I'm yet to go. I figure one of these days I'm gonna, especially after the Rona is over, I think I might go to the Dominican Republic. Not necessarily to like see or like meet a woman or find love or anything, but it would be interesting to me and fascinating to see, since it's one of those subjects I'm so interested in. Almost 42. What's almost 42? What are you like? What are you like? 30? 1, 2, 3? I don't know how old anybody is anymore. I used to be really good about telling people happy birthday, but I lost that because the Facebook thing changed, and then I can't see your birthday anymore. So I was like, forget it. Way too many birthdays out there. Bro, Asian women love American black men. That's one of those. Oh, you're not almost 42. Yeah, Asian women do love. I mean, women of other cultures love black men. It's one of the things that Kevin Samuels talks about too, and it's not necessarily advocating for men to date out. I mean, they'll do that under their own volition, but women of other cultures, they love black men because we are the most like, we live in a matriarchal society, and so we have reverence for our women that other cultures don't have. And so these Asian women, these Hispanic, Indian women, whatever, I mean, once they get outside of, like, of course, the caste system and stuff like that, they want black men. Yeah, sure. The peen as well. But they also heard that thing too about black dudes in the bedroom and whatnot. but black men have a reverence for women that many other races don't have. Like there aren't too many other cultures where women have such a powerful voice, which is always amazing to me when women talk about the men keeping them down, abusing, blah blah blah. But like black women are like have one of the most powerful voices really in our society. So it's kind of just amazing to me, like, yeah, like, oh Jesus, oh Jesus, the couple was fighting. Do, 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 do. So, how Kel asked the question, how do you compete? I don't know. How do you compete with? I mean, guys, we understand what our competition is. We got to make more money. We got to, we got to have the aesthetic. We got to make sure our confidence and our swagger is right. Ladies, how do you compete? Meh. Like, how do women compete? Um, Ladies, you compete through your looks. You compete through how you carry yourself. You compete through how you show. There is a gnat or something flying around. I don't know what that was. It's Texas. It's hot. Bugs are coming back out. Sometimes they get in, but luckily it was a little tiny one. Um, you can't compete until you know who else playing the game. Yeah, you can play against the computer. You can beat yourself. Some people do that too. They compete against themselves, and sometimes they actually lose. It's crazy. But you can always compete. What was I about to say about what? Please be clear. I'll be talking. There's a delay, and I don't know exactly where you might be asking me this question. Do men compete with other men, or do y'all bow out gracefully? No, we compete with other men. Men definitely compete with other men. Uh, Sometimes men will acknowledge when they're probably being beaten. Like if I'm going out with a woman who is into like some fine dining, highfalutin stuff, and I'm just taking her like, I wouldn't do this, but if I'm just taking her like Chili's or something, uh, there might be a chance that I'm losing. Some guys will try to pull it off, some guys won't, but like usually guys will compete until they're told that they're no longer there or no longer needed, or that they'll stop competing um when they realize they can't keep up with whatever she's asking for. No, 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 no. I was gonna say, women, y'all compete with y'all looks. Y'all compete with the way you carry yourself and the way you treat somebody, and basically what you will do for that man, and how you can contribute to his life. I've had women. I swear to God, I don't ask for this stuff. I never do, but I mean, people have bought me wine glasses. This one girl, she went to Sam's Club or something, bought me some soap, like some hand soap, because she's like, oh, and this was like after like date number 2. Like she brought me some hand soap. One woman, she brought me an oil diffuser, like for some I forgot why, but she just bought me an oil diffuser. Like there are all these different ways that you can compete for a guy, and it's not necessarily in just buying gifts either. I mean, you could be the best at stroking his ego. Like I said, you could be the best listener. You could be the best at reading him and identifying his needs before anybody else. It doesn't always have to be some kind of tangible thing, but there are always these different ways to compete. Do do. It's been about an hour and a half. I'm glad everybody's having so much fun in the comments. This is great. Okay. Shout out to the 12 people that are still here. Love you. Mwah. No homo. Oh, we don't say that no more. It's perfectly okay to blow kisses at people. All right. So one of these days, and I think it probably only happened if I just start triggering people. Bow, 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 bow. But that's good. Hey, how you doing? Um, I think it won't happen until I start triggering people again, but I really would love to have more people like chime in on these conversations. I do enjoy. No, I'm not kissing Kermit for you. Um, I do enjoy the dialogue and the discourse that goes on, the questions that come up. Uh, it's really like an exercise for me, and it helps me learn a lot more. Like I'm never really stuck in my thoughts as people think. People think I'm like stuck in my ways. I mean, it's social media, and everything's so polarized. It's just more beneficial to have the conversation. That way, maybe I can learn something from you. Um, you never know. You never know. Okay, what's up? I'm getting all these reactions from people, likes and whatnot. What would be awesome? Again, there's a delay on these things. I have no clue what y'all are talking about sometimes. Just things would be awesome. So next week I was either gonna talk about am I polling topics for my next show? I probably should. I have a bunch of ideas sitting out there. Um Next time I either want to do like the breakdown the black family or say the breakdown of no, not a good idea. Uh the breakdown of the black family, or how men don't really think about a woman's money, uh, and also some other things that I've been cooking up. Talk about what it means to actually bash women. Oh, and the Disney thing, yeah, the Disney. I'm sorry. So it's the top three right now is money, the state of the black family, and how we got there, and then the Disneyfication of men. That one's gonna be fun because all the researchers gonna be watching Disney movies and figuring out these plots and where the men come in and what their roles are. Um, Again, these things that we think we should do but never work for us. Um, yeah, that way. Yeah, what's up with people? Uh oh. Yeah, what's up with all these folks in like these forex pages? Like, come on now. Uh, and they be so obvious. Like, I hate being sold to. So for me, when I see like forex and like all these MLMs, I'm just like, just leave me alone. We already had bad experiences with these. You don't want to go through that again. Okay, let's do Disney. I've enjoyed this entertainment for the night. Oh, thank you so much. Have a better one. Tip jar from the maiden dance later. Who's my favorite prince? Um, well, really, damn near all the princes were shitheads. There we go. I can't believe I did that on air. All the princes are shitheads. So, um, well, not all of them. Some of them were good guys. Well, I guess by default it would be, I guess Beast, but like the Beast basically like held her captive. Stockholm syndrome they would accuse her of. Gaston is the breast prince, yeah, from Beauty and the Beast. No, no, baby, it's the money. You got to get the. It's you got to get the pay me up front first. You got to pay me up front first. Yeah, you got to pay me front first. Gas Beast is yeah. So it's funny when you think about some of these stories and like who the good guys were and who the bad guys were. Like it really turns itself on its head when you start to like really think outside the box. Like Beast kept her captive, and Gaston was the one who was going to try to save her, but yet Gaston was made out to be the d bag. Yeah, you gotta make a deposit. I don't know. He's asking you. I can't see that in these comments. Not on StreamYard anyway. All right. Okay, bye. Since you're done for now. Let's see. If nobody else wants to call in, I think I might just go ahead and wrap this up. I think I might just go ahead and wrap this up and then come back with a topic next week. It's either going to be money, the state of the black family, which I'm gonna probably do some more work on that and come out with a couple weeks, but also the Disneyfication of men and women, the romance ideas. All right. Well, I think an hour and 36 minutes ain't too bad. It was lovely talking to y'all. Thank you, Markel, again for chiming in on this subject. And I guess I'll see you guys later. Yeah, he was most interested in your answer. I guess I'll just see you guys later. We'll come up with a topic for next week. Hopefully get some traction in here. Some more people like, share, subscribe, all that fancy stuff they ask you to do for YouTube. Next week I don't know. I might just try to get all this over on my YouTube channel, see what happens. But the Facebook comments is where I get the most traction. So here we are. Might come up with a name for it. Might come up with some decorations and whatnot. Still got some shelves I want to put in here. Fantasyland is a good name. I'll write that down. But all in all, I enjoyed it. It's fun. It's fun. I know it's St. Patrick's Day, so arrive alive, don't drink and drive, and be safe out there. And I will TTYL. So TTFN, and I'll holler at y'all later.